Hi, this is Ed from ExoticBlanks, inviting you to watch along as we turn the new pen from Berea, the Glacia. We think this is going to be a very interesting pen. It has the FINIAL twist, and it has a grapevine motif at the top. Generally speaking, there's a little length to it, so it has a little bit more space for you to put on a nice blank. And we're thinking possibly you might even decide to take off the clip and use it for a purse pen, because I think it's long and sleek and women will enjoy it and it will sell well at the shows. So let's get started making a Glacia. It's a simple profile to turn. You're going from a smaller to a larger bushing. When you drill this, I drilled it with an R size bit. The instructions say 11/32. I drilled one that way and I thought the hole was a little large. So I might suggest that you start with the R size bit, and then if it turns out that you want to go to the 11/32, you can certainly expand the hole without any problem. But that was my experience with it. As you can see, we're doing the turning here. I'm going to do that pretty quick. I'm not going to go through a lot of information on turning. Everybody should know what they're doing there. But again, I will tell you that the bushings are different sizes. They're not a lot different, but they are different sizes, and the one that is the larger of the two is your finial end, and the one that is the smaller of the two turns out to be your nib end. So that's all there is to it. You make sure that you get them in the right orientation, and it's fairly simple. The remaining steps are pretty self-explanatory. We want to sand it first with 400 grit in my case. Now, if you don't handle your tools quite as well, you may want to go down to 240 or 260, but 400 works for me. I sand it until I have a nice even finish on it. This is 600 grit. That will complete the sanding and get it ready for doing the buffing. From there it goes to the buffing wheels, and I buff it first with Tripoli and then with a white diamond, and it doesn't take long to do that. I particularly like buffing because it's fairly quick and it gives you a really nice finish. So that's all there is to making it the way that I do it, and now we're going to assemble it. That will do a little slower so you understand what pieces go where. I always suggest starting your assembly by getting something to pour the parts into. I use freezer containers frequently. I buy them at the dollar store. I get 4 for $1, so at 25 cents a piece it saves a lot of parts that would have otherwise gone on the floor and been lost forever. I take this and put it all into this little freezer container and then start taking individual pieces out of the bag. All those baggies are a genuine pain in the neck, but they keep everything from getting scratched, and that's the purpose of having all the baggies in there. All the plated parts are kept apart from each other in theory. So we're taking all of them out of the bags, and as you can see, I ultimately just dump the rest of the stuff onto the workspace because I can tell where it's going. Take the spring and put it on the refill. Move that off to the side because it's not very difficult to figure out what you're going to do with that. The next thing that I've done with this one is take the nib and put well, first I'm telling you there's a small size and a large size end. The small size end is the end that the nib goes into. There is a small insert that goes in there. Of course, if you put it in backwards, it's a pain in the neck. So I put the nib onto the insert before I put the insert into the pen. That way I can't put it on backwards. So at that point, I'm taking off the plate, and the wood underneath there is screwed to the arbor press, so the wood works as a base as well. And I'm pushing down on that and pushing the nib in. Then I unscrew it about 1/4 of a turn and push it down again. That way I can set it up so that the nib actually bottoms out before it hits the bottom of the threads. So it will give me a tighter secure end. Then you take the part that goes in the top, which is a two-stage little piece, and put the clip on it and press that in place. So if you're going to use the clip, this is the time that you put the clip on it and press it in place. Obviously, one end of that part will fit into the tube, the other end won't, so it's pretty hard to do it wrong. Make sure that you put the clip on right side up. Next is your trim ring, the part that has the grapevine design on it. And you put that on, and again, you're going to have to press it down into place very gently. Don't bend that piece while you're trying to put it in place. But it does go down. It just takes a little bit of a push to get it to go down. If it's square on there, it's fairly easy. Then you put in your refill with the spring on it, and screw in the top, which is your transmission, of course. Once you're finished with that, check it. Make sure that you can pull it in fully, that it retracts fully. In order to do that, I always try to write on my hand and find out that no, I can't. That's a good thing. If I can't write on my hand, then it's fully retracted. Now you put the back piece back on, the finial piece on. It goes down pretty easily until it's about 1/8 of an inch from the pen, and then you have to use a little force. I would suggest that as you tell people how to put the refill in this, you tell them to unscrew the nib, because that will be much easier than trying to remove that back end. Although it is threaded, it might work. That's all there is to it. Here's the pictures of the Glacia, and we hope you enjoyed this. This is Ed. Bye now.